Thank you so much, Divya, for providing your time. And I'm certain your talk is going to motivate a lot of people, right? Thank you. So Divya has experience working with Mindtree Consulting. She worked in UK in NQT. Then she worked in Sapient for 7 years, and all throughout, she was in the space of technology. Then she worked in JP Morgan Chase as a vice president. She was looking into cloud platform engineering aspects. And now she's working with Microsoft as a senior technical architect. And who other than the expert herself, right, to explain us on what is the importance of the projects where people are heavily using data and artificial intelligence. So, Divya, thank you once again for your time. But the question that I have is, what are a few of the real world projects that you have experienced as part of your, work? And can you speak briefly about those?
Sure. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you for having me here on this show. And predominantly in my current role, I am working with customers in the FSI space. The last 10 plus years, I've been associated with financial services as an industry, and in my current role, I actually get time and opportunity to talk to any business that you would name, right, or any industry that you would name. Although I'm currently focused on FSI as an industry, but thanks to my role, I speak to leaders in manufacturing, in edtech, in healthcare, public sector, across the board, right? And one common theme, as you said, and now the buzzword again is data and AI. Significant amount of work has been done, especially in the context of automating a lot of work, right? Of course, we had RPA, we had the regular stream of automation that was going on, but now with the era of generative AI, what we see is the ability for computers to understand us rather than us having to understand computers. In short, what we call as human computer interaction, right? That has become much more seamless, which means that this technology you can see spread across the board, impacting every single persona, every single industry. Now, to name a few top use cases or top trends that's happening in the industry, especially if you take in the context of banking, virtual chatbots, L1 support with chatbots, document intelligence is a big deal, right? Because banking being a very regulated sector, they're processing tons of documents every single day to make a decision. That and in the context of, let's say, manufacturing or retail, supply chain augmentation with generative AI, how do you infuse or how do you bring both the traditional AI and the generative AI worlds together to solve or to get a 360 degree view of the overall problem and hence the solution, right? Now, all of us do understand that with generative AI, the whole space of unstructured data opens up for us, and together we have a unified intelligence with the structured data as well as unstructured data. So, tons of use cases that I see working across with customers. In fact, last year when I was working with customers, it was predominantly POC, but this year a lot of use cases are coming into production as we speak, right? And again, it's a world of agentic AI is in place. We've had our leaders speak saying that AI agents are going to join the workforce very soon, so we are seeing a good traction in agentic AI across the board.
So it's traditional AI and then generative AI and then agentic AI, right?
Yeah.
There has been a steady, I would not say steady, there has been a disruptive movement. Sure. From one broad technology to another. Wonderful. And people have to embrace that and start doing projects in that space.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Divya, for that. And the second question is, there are a lot of students who want to venture into this space of AI and they want to surf on this demand that is getting, yeah, generated.
Yes.
And a lot of working professionals want to switch their careers into this field. And there are a lot of people who have taken career break who want to join back. However, they have to embrace AI to get into the working space once again. What would your suggestion be for them? Because most often than not, your Kaggle competition or some other websites will have a neatly defined business problem, so you need not bang your head figuring out what the problem is. You need not worry about data collection because data magically comes on a click of a button on
Yeah.
these Kaggle kind of places. You'll not even be given a provision to deploy the model, and you'll not be able to monitor and maintain. So all the critical aspects are gone if you work on Kaggle competition, and you don't become industry relevant as part of that. The only knowledge that one will accrue is about machine learning algorithms, and we have AutoML coming up to replace that aspect also. So what is your suggestion, Divya, for people who want to get into this field?
Yeah, so specifically, if I want to talk about generative AI, right, the whole space is exploding. Day in and day out, you have tons of models that are being slipped into every different model provider, be it on cloud or be it in the open source world. Lakhs of models are there together for people to get started with. So that is one area I would say is a model commoditization layer where you'll be seeing a lot of influx of a lot of these models. So one has to basically know and understand the usage of these models, number one. Number two, what is the real business impact? Right now, models are on one side, but we are also seeing an evolution of the overall tooling ecosystem. For example, what was there 3 years ago was just a client talking to a model, right? But you have a lot more frameworks today which gives you a holistic ecosystem or an end-to-end comprehensive ecosystem for you to do maybe a Gen AI ops or an LLM ops, or to that extent, right? It is kind of productionized today. So for people who want to get in new into the generative AI space, I would say you need to keep track of two significant streams, right? One stream is definitely the incoming flux of models. The other stream is platforms, frameworks, and toolings. So if you're looking at predominantly the public cloud providers, naming the top few, if I were to take example of, let's say, Azure comes in with its own complete comprehensive suite. So for us to get hands-on with that, see today AI is not just about models, right? It's also productionizing any applications that you build around those models. So getting familiar with both the tools and the models is very critical, very important, number one. Number two, yes, we are having Gen AI being infused even into traditional models right now. We have generative AI plus time series modeling, generative AI plus, let's say, a portfolio creation monitoring. We have industry specific models which are there, which are now coming out, right? So that's the other trend that I see. For anybody to get started on this journey, definitely you cannot just read stuff. You cannot lose weight I would say by just looking at videos, right? You will have to work out. So on the same lines, getting hands on each of these technologies, solving some real world use case, whether your organization today provides you an opportunity or not, but as a technologist you don't have a way out, right? You have to be up to date, you have to be relevant. So pick up some standard use cases, solve problems, because a lot of these models are also open source and you can really get your hands dirty even if you don't have to pay any cloud provider to get credits and stuff like that, right? So staying relevant, keeping putting your hands getting your hands dirty, and solving some use cases, this really matters. The pace is evolving at a very rapid speed, I would say, right? So keeping on top of it is the mantra, I would say.
Absolutely well said. Just by watching videos, you won't lose weight. That's a very good example. Until unless you get into the water, you cannot learn swimming.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So there you go, friends. It's not just the machine learning algorithms, the new breed of algorithms that you should keep an eye on, because the research itself has shifted towards many things which are not related to enhancing the accuracy of the model, that we can anyways tweak the hyperparameters, use an ensemble, and then achieve the desired accuracy. But what are the different frameworks, what are the different tools, what is it that Microsoft for that case is coming up with in the space of cloud? These are a few things that one should be aware of, and you should solve a real world problem. You need to be hands on to be able to understand what these technologies actually do, right? Otherwise there is no getting into this space. Thank you so much, Divya, for your time. It means a lot, and the inputs that you have provided are extremely meaningful for the wider audience who want to get into this field. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. And
Thank,
it was a pleasure talking to you.
welcome. Thank you so much. Likewise. Bye.
Bye.